Hello and welcome to episode 75 of Radio Gorepress.
75.
75 sounds massive.
Doesn't it?
That's so many. Maybe next year we can hit 100. Here's hoping.
I mean, if we carry on the way we've been doing.
I think we can do it. I believe in us. So for the uninitiated, I am Sarah, and joining me is my co-host Phil.
Hello.
How you doing, Phil?
I'm good. I'm drying off. I've been distinctly damp today.
It's been pissing it down.
Very rainy here in Canterbury.
In literally
and around in it. So.
In mood, I think it's been. This is not the forum for politics, but it's been a very stressful time in soggy old Blighty today.
It's going to be one of those shows, guys. Don't
don't tune
strap
out now.
in.
Don't worry.
We're okay. We're good.
We are good. We are, however, minus a Rosie.
We are,
which is very sad.
It's been a weird old week because
it has. We normally record on a Wednesday. Today is a Thursday,
and both you and Rosie were struck down by the lurgy.
Some sort of 24-hour fucking
and
sickness
I didn't
yesterday.
feel comfortable or particularly. Didn't feel like anyone would fancy listening to me blather on for an hour and a half.
Aww.
Nor do I think I'd be able to.
Don't undersell yourself.
Postponed it till today.
You.
So Rosie had commitments that she has graciously ignored in the past, but I think she's perhaps feels she's taken the piss a bit too much recently. So
she's bowed out at this one and left us to it. So before we get started, I just want to take a quick minute to encourage you to check out radiogorepress.com. You can find links to all of the really cool stuff, including every past show, I think from 19 onwards, which will always be free. You can find links to our Patreon, where you can listen to all of our minisodes. We're up to 16 at this point.
Ooh.
For $5 a month, or join us on our Discord server for only $1 a month.
Come chat with us.
Come and chat with us. It's really cool. We've got our own little horror community. It's really cool. And we don't just talk about horror. We talk about beers and comics and video games. And it's
all good stuff.
Super rad. We also have links to our merch on Redbubble, which would massively help us out if you were to buy some merch. And we have a coffee account, ko-fi, that allows you to do a one-time tip if you can't commit to monthly, from as little as £3. Which we would hugely appreciate. We just want to take another quick second, actually, to say a massive thank you, because we have been leaning heavily on the monetization because we were starting to panic. Our hosting fees are due again at the end of January, but thanks to you guys, we've actually hit our target.
Yeah,
we can pay for another year. We're all good.
We're not going anywhere.
Cue cartoon wiping of brows collectively. So I'm stoked. We get to do what we love for another year, and that's thanks to you.
And if you don't already, come join us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
Absolutely.
Just search Radio Gorepress. Like us, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.
Join the fun. So this episode's going to be a little bit different to the usual format. We are not covering a specific film this time.
We are not.
It's a bit of a... I don't want to toot our own horns or anything, or oversell this. But I guess it's like our holiday special?
Yeah, I mean, it is that time, isn't it?
Special might be overstating things. It's our holiday different. Maybe that's more apt.
That is, much more apt, much more truthful. Holiday different.
That's how I'm going to bill it. The Radio Gorepress holiday different. It is not special.
Just different.
But for those of you that listen every week, you'll be familiar with this beginning segment where we talk a little bit about stuff we've seen, stuff we've listened to, games we've played, stuff what we've done.
In
the last fortnight.
What stuff have you done?
What stuff have I done? I got another year older.
Way. Well done.
You knew that because you
I know,
came
but
out
I can
to
celebrate it as well here.
It was...
Tiny party hats. Tiny poppers
the
going
older
on.
you get, the smaller the...
Small.
Yeah. Just very, very, very small party hats. Tiny streamers. tiny small bunting. But massive drinks. Huge amount of alcohol.
I mean, that's the relationship, really. The more drinks, the smaller the actual physical
That's
celebration.
the ratio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why kids get so much. Because when
They
they're
have
young,
no alcohol.
they can't. So they just get like infinite amount of party
That's
kind
true.
of festoons.
That would
Is
be
festoons a word? It's a verb. I feel it should be a noun.
Festooned.
I know something can be
Definitely a word.
festooned.
Yeah. I don't
You know what I mean.
Is a festoon?
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
It sounds horrible.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
That would be a disaster though, because children already act drunk. So
That is true. Toddler or drunk. You never know. Could be both.
Is that going to be our new game? Because one of my favorite.
It's a thing. I've heard it's a thing.
One of my favorite games is Bluetooth or Crazy.
That is another.
It's very
another good
enjoyable.
game.
So, in addition to getting a year older and disgracing myself whilst drunk horribly, I have watched a handful of stuff.
Ooh.
You're like fanfaring all of this. And
Yeah.
It's not worthy.
I'm your like biggest fan right now.
You are. You're my personal cheerleader.
What have you watched?
So, I'm going to start with the worst one first. To get out
Start
of the way.
Start strong.
I watched a horror comedy called Corporate Animals.
Okay.
Real bad.
Yeah?
Real bad.
Never heard of it.
Shit. So who's in it? Ed Helms is in it.
Okay.
Demi Moore is in it.
Okay.
Dan Bacadal is in it.
I mean, two of those people I knew,
He was in the Jim Jeffries sitcom.
which I haven't seen.
It was alright. It was
Yeah.
pretty good, yeah. Like, I used to love Jim Jeffries. Over the years, that love has waned. As I've started to realise that the misogyny is not an act.
He's just a bit of a prick.
And after that, was it the journalist who snuck a camera onto the set of his show? And because he suspected he'd be walking into a viper's nest, basically. And they literally twisted everything. They asked really leading questions to make the guy look really racist and unreasonable, and then obviously edited all of Jim Jeffries' goading out of the show.
Yeah.
But he got on hidden camera, like Jim Jeffries just being awful and racist and like just horrendous in an effort to get this guy to like open up to him, and so shot down in my estimation after that. Not relevant.
Not at all relevant.
Completely irrelevant
So,
to this story.
Corporate Animals.
So it's about a fictional company of which Demi Moore is the CEO, I guess, and they go on a team building retreat. They go spelunking. The cave kind of collapses. They get stuck.
Okay. That's not at all what I suspected with that title.
It's not what I expected.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected, but I was hoping for better.
Like, I had like images of kind of a mayhem style movie
Oh, that would have been
when
amazing.
you mentioned it.
Oh, no.
And I guess it's
When I
like
say-
Severance.
When I say that would have been amazing, actually, I think I just want to watch Mayhem. I should have just watched Mayhem. Why don't I watch
Really?
Mayhem?
I mean, that's the solution to most problems, really.
How many times can I say Mayhem in a minute?
Samara Weaving's in that, isn't she?
She is.
That's there it is.
Selling point of any movie. Speaking of which, you need to watch Ready or Not.
I know.
You'd
I
love
know.
it. You'd love it. So it's billed as, I call it a horror comedy. I feel that is very generous. It is neither horrifying nor comedic.
Okay.
It does not complete one of the two tasks that it's set out to do. And I think it's like an hour and a half. It felt like a really long hour
They're
and
the
a half.
worst, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, when it's a short film and still drags.
Yeah. But it, like, so I'll give you an indication of the calibre of the jokes. Obviously the light sources start to dwindle, and it turns out this one like peppy young guy has a torch, but you have to like make a wanking motion to charge the torch. Like, that is the zenith of the humour in this film.
I mean, I guess if Ed Helms is in it, that doesn't surprise me.
I
Nothing
quite
against
like
him.
Ed Helms.
Nothing against him, but like,
I mean, The Hangover
that's
is alright.
Yeah, that's like a lot of what he does. That sort of level of humour.
I think maybe because I was such a fan of The Office, I'm sort of viewing him more favourably than I
Oh,
would
and I'm sure I
normally.
would the same. Like, Office is great. Couple thumbs up.
I don't know. In hindsight, it should have been obvious that a film with that cast, I'd never heard of it until I came to watch it. There'd been absolutely just tumbleweeds, nobody talking about it. That should have been my clue. So, alas, it was not the hidden gem that I'd hoped for.
Sad times.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Yeah. What about you?
So I haven't watched... Well, I've watched one horror movie.
I've watched nothing.
I have watched a few things. I'll go with the horror first, because that's more the relevant thing. I watched Apostle the other day.
Oh my god, because we've been talking about watching this
We
for like
have,
a
and I
year
was
at
like,
this point.
should I watch it? Should I just watch it? And I did. And
I'm not butthurt. You can watch whatever you want.
That's good, because I was feeling guilty.
No, don't
But no,
worry.
I watched it without fear of recrimination. And I really enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you're not, like, super into folk horror, are you?
No, but it was... yeah, I see, like, I think I've watched a couple of movies, two specifically recently, that have kind of, like, started to change my mind a bit.
Is that this and
Midsummer?
Yeah.
Because...
Not the Wicker Man remake.
No. Because there seems to be this thing, and it's like, you get to the place, like, outsider gets to place seems really happy, but quaint. Like, quaint, happy, bit weird.
Yeah.
That's it. Hide a dark secret. Protagonist dies, or nearly dies, and escape. Like... That's the gist of a lot of these.
That sounds like Canterbury.
You're probably right.
It's lovely. Everyone's adorable, and then it's like, oh, they're all
hidden underneath,
they're all alcoholics,
lurking in the darkness.
No.
But Midsummer I liked because you felt something was off right from the start. Like, those people just felt weird, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that. But it was kind of the same for Apostle.
Okay.
Like, it's not quite as... The kind of commune isn't as... Kind of... Hasn't got that same sort of weird, like, folky quirks that you find in Midsummer. Like, the kind of... The things they do. But yeah, no, the concept of it, the kind of, like, direction that they took, really cool. Really liked it.
The thing I love about stuff like that is that there is so much scope for weirdness.
Yeah.
Because anything like remotely odd, you can just be like, it's tradition.
Yeah.
I just don't
and I
get
think
it.
I didn't realise that until I watched Midsummer, because a lot of the folk horror, they're just kind of regular people, and also they, you know, make a giant straw man, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But it doesn't... They didn't really... Like, I haven't seen many folk horrors, and admittedly haven't seen many at all.
I mean, there's not a huge number of them.
But, like, they do explore that kind of weird side of tradition.
Yeah. But as we touched on it, but I'm not going to labour the point, because we talked about it briefly in the last show when we brought up Midsummer. But things like the hoodening... I'd never heard of that before I moved to Kent. Or pace egging in Bury. That's such a weirdly specific Lancastrian... tradition, and I said the word to somebody down here, and they were just like, "What?
Yeah,
you what?"
I've never heard of that.
And mummers in Canada, so fucking like they just exist in this tiny pocket, and like word never really travels.
Yeah,
it's just like passed down, and they're gonna die out eventually, and it's gonna be very sad. But like everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, that's just a thing that we do."
Yeah.
The hoodening, you know, the hoodening.
Well,
and to everyone else, it's like, "Are you mental?"
My first encounter was I was dating a girl from America, and she came over and we watched The Last Night at the Proms together. And it was I was back home with my parents. It was on, and I was watching it, and I was like, "This is really fucking weird."
Oh, like it's viewing something
you suddenly
through someone else's eyes.
I'm like, you suddenly see all the like weird, quirky British kind of traditions they have with that thing, and it's like for those of you who don't know, Last Night at the Proms is kind of it's the last night of a festival of like classical music.
The Proms.
And the last night is the big celebration of it all. They often have kind of the same compositions that they kind of perform each year or whatever. But there's all sorts of like weird quirks that go on that I'm like suddenly viewing out of someone else's eyes. It's suddenly really weird. But yeah, it is weird how like traditions get normalised. I
had a similar thing where I had to explain to a Canadian what fireworks night was. And they were like, "You celebrate what by doing what? That makes no sense." And I'm suddenly like, this seems really insensitive now. Oh shit, why do we do this? Whiz bangs.
We burn them alive every single year.
This is fucked up. But yeah, it's not until you grow up with it. It's normal, you accept it, and then you see it via someone else, and it's like, our customs are strange.
Yeah.
This is very weird.
But no, Apostle, like, it went a really kind of interesting direction. And I don't want to say too much for fear of spoiling it, but I recommend giving it a watch.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching the trailer and getting quite excited about it because it looks like it's up my street. Which is, I don't ask me why I haven't watched it yet. I don't know. It's one of those that will probably remain on my Netflix to watch list for the next 5 years until they remove it and I go,
why didn't I watch it
this week? Is it as gory as the trailer makes out? Because it looks really gnarly.
Some of it is.
Is it quite nasty?
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's reasons for it, and again, I won't go into why.
Okay.
I
mean, you don't have to spoil it, but so it is quite gory.
It's a fun cast as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Suddenly forgetting everyone who's in it.
That guy and that other woman and they were in some things.
Michael Sheen's in it.
Oh my god.
Michael Sheen.
Say no more.
Michael Sheen, Dan Stevens, Lucy Boynton from Sing Street.
Oh, I like her. Sing Street's great.
Perhaps the only 3 names you'd recognise, but
no, I mean like Michael Sheen. I mean,
yeah, like he's great. Michael Sheen's so good in everything he's in.
Like, I have never watched the Twilight movies, but that clip of him reacting to the child, that like 30-second of him hamming that fucking shit up. I have watched that about 30 times and I love it.
He's such a fun actor to watch. And he's actually speaking in his native Welsh accent as well, which is interesting because obviously he's a Welsh actor.
Kate Beckinsale, you knob. Why did you dump him? Why?
I think both lost out in that one.
Nah, I don't know.
Kate Beckinsale, man. She's pretty.
She ain't. So, what else have I seen? So one that we briefly discussed on the Discord, actually, which, if you pledged $1 a month on the Patreon...
Only $1 a month, that's not much.
You'd be in on this conversation. I think it was John that brought up We Have Always Lived in the Castle.
Ah.
And it's one I'd been meaning to watch, and as soon as he said it was quite good, I was like, sold, I'm in. I like a bit of, like, sort of literary Gothic style period piece. I enjoyed it. Wouldn't call it a horror.
Okay.
I feel like maybe it's kind of mistakenly being called a horror because it's based on a novel by Shirley Jackson.
Oh, okay.
So I think, like, it was weirdly was made before
Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House. I had only heard of it recently, and I figured maybe they'd rushed it out to capitalise on the success of that, but actually it was the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah, it was alright. It's a weird one.
Okay,
it's a slow burn mystery drama with like hints of Gothic.
Supernatural. Okay.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Crispin Glover's in it.
Okay.
I love Crispin Glover. I'm not sure he's even an actor.
He just turns up on set and they let him just go with it.
It's just like, he's here. This is a rare moment.
Turn on the camera.
We'll make up a character name later. Just let him do his thing. I'm convinced he's so weird and I live for it. Genuinely, he's a pretty good actor when he wants to be.
Yeah.
I think he's sort of... I think people are a bit hard on him. He's sort of like dismissed as a bit of a Hollywood weirdo. Which he 100% is. I can't remember which chat show he was on, but I remember seeing that interview of him. Well, I think they were supposed to be interviewing Crispin Glover. What they got was Crispin Glover as his character, Mr. Farr.
Interesting.
I will have to find that clip and show you.
That sounds bonkers.
Hilarious. And I was just like, this guy's amazing. And from then on, it was just, that was it. That solidified it. Yeah, I think I would recommend it. But just don't go in expecting a horror movie.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like films where it's just like, you're given some of the pieces, everything's a little bit strange, and you're just kind of left scratching your head a little bit as you figure it all out, and then in the last moments it's like, of course.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sebastian Stan's in it. He's pretty good as well.
You like Sebastian Stan?
I do. Interestingly, Completely unlikable character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've never seen him in that sort of... Actually, no, he was a bit of a dick in Destroyer as well.
Does he do it well?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, he's somebody that people underestimate.
Yeah, I guess it's like people jump to like...
Superheroes who
yeah.
don't need a huge amount of range, do you? But yeah, he was good as well.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting film.
Cool. Let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
This is not at all horror, but I watched it anyway because it's that time of year.
Oh, go on.
Christmas Chronicles.
Yes!
Yes!
Christmas Chronicles
was released last year, I believe.
It was... How is it only a year old?
Right.
It feels like I've watched it every year of my life. Genuinely, it feels like I've watched it every Christmas.
Yeah, but that's
since
because
I was
every
a child.
Christmas movie is exactly the same.
How dare you?
I watched Miracle on 34th Street and
Which one?
the remake with Mara Wilson.
Okay.
And also
Cracked writer Mara Wilson.
I love her. She's great. She's so good.
Her Twitter presence is pretty special.
Have you seen the tweet about Daniel Radcliffe?
I don't think so.
I'll dig it up in a bit. But yeah, like they both have this like single struggling parent is at Christmas, and there's Santa Claus comes in, and suddenly everyone's fine. Like every Christmas movie is exactly the same, and it's fucking great. I love it. But Christmas Chronicles is so good. Same story, single parent.
Ultimately, yeah, I can't disagree.
In fairness, not single through divorce, single through tragedy,
yeah,
death, to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
And cool Santa Claus played by Kurt Russell.
The coolest Santa Claus.
He's so cool. I love it.
The hottest Santa Claus.
Very true.
If I may.
Very true.
Rosie said that the other week, and out of interest I was just like, are there any others? And I googled hot Santa Claus. It's just pictures of Kurt Russell.
I mean, that settles it.
Yeah.
I think he's just like...
Google has spoken.
Kurt Russell has just like such an innate charisma.
Oh god, yeah. He's the coolest man on the
planet.
He's
so good as... Like, he just nails that like kind of cheeky, fun Santa Claus role, which I don't think I'd ever expect him to. Like, if you look at like... You know, it's
of that,
it's
like...
Snake Plissken, also Santa Claus. Like,
but also... Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I do, but I think...
Hollywood action star Kurt Russell plays Father Christmas.
You've got a point, I'll give you that. But I think if you kind of think about films like Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Burton was all about the comedy wisecracks.
Oh, yeah.
There's been shades of it throughout his career, I think, and he does it a lot better than people give him credit for. And also, he's the love of my life. So
well, really, that's the only thing that matters.
Really sweet, though. Spoilers, at the very end of the Christmas Chronicles, obviously it turns out that Goldie Hawn is Mrs. Claus, and I was just like,
it's not just that. One of the kids that gets visited and has I think he has one of the video letters that Santa Claus is watching, is his grandson.
Oh.
And the dad that dies is played by, I can't remember his name.
Oliver Hudson,
Oliver Hudson, who is Goldie Hawn's son.
Eldest son, yeah.
Which just makes me want to watch Happy Endings again. It was Happy Endings, wasn't it?
Which one?
Was it? I swear he was in that. I feel I need to second guessing myself.
I don't remember him in that.
Or maybe what's the one with shit? Leave it with me. I'm getting confused.
Professional as ever.
I'm getting confused with another sitcom featuring that guy who is a bit of a dick.
Oh god, that doesn't.
Rules of Engagement with Patrick Warburton's in it.
Patrick Warburton,
and
who I will mention again later.
David Spade.
Oh no, I don't think I've seen this.
It's like standard American sitcom.
I think the last sitcom I saw David Spade in was probably Just Shoot Me, and that's going back a very long way. It's been a while. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for Christmas Chronicles 2.
Yeah. Very excited for that.
If they could get Wyatt Russell on board also, I'd be very happy.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, probably.
Do they have a son? Let's hope so. What else have I watched? I'm just going to talk about one more.
Okay.
And then we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a film I'm not sure I've mentioned on this podcast before.
Okay.
It is my third favourite vampire movie.
Love it. Love it. This is my third favourite vampire movie set in the 80s, in which the lead actor...
I have listicles for every minute subgenre.
Subgenres of movies.
I mean, favourite would be Near Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Second favourite would be 1931 Dracula.
Okay.
Actually, this is probably tied with The Lost Boys.
I was going to say, like,
Lost
I'm
Boys
surprised I
better.
haven't heard Lost Boys.
Yeah. I think obviously it's a vampire movie, but I struggle to kind of reconcile it as a horror because it's so comedic.
Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not The Hunger.
Yeah.
The Hunger would be tied.
You haven't got to the name, so I wasn't sure what you meant.
So, Lost Boys and The Hunger share the number 3 spot.
Okay.
It has far more in common with something like Near Dark, but very little in common with Near Dark. Don't be fooled. It opens with Bauhaus singing Bela Lugosi's Dead.
Right.
In a cage, in a goth
Fantastic,
club.
yep. Strong start.
While David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve seduce a couple and take them home and then
very strong start.
Murder them. It's phenomenal. Honestly, this film is largely incoherent bollocks.
Fantastic.
I will be completely upfront and honest. It's Tony Scott.
Okay.
Which is a weird one for him. God rest his soul. But basically it is... Have you seen American Horror Story Hotel? Because they stole giant chunks.
I kind of like tried and couldn't get past season 1 and just have never tried and never tried since.
You're not missing a great deal. It's
American Horror Story Oven.
I would.
Damn it! That tweet was perfect. If you guys listen, search out that tweet on Radio Gorepress and retweet it for me because I photoshopped that and it went nowhere. And there's a tweet that has the poster American Story Cut Oven on, and I photoshopped an oven in there. And no one liked it. Anyway,
I liked it. I just don't have a Twitter account. I real life liked it. I'm giving you 2 thumbs up right now.
I'll take a photo and just like reply to it.
Just subtweet
with that photo.
yourself.
Yeah, subtweet it with a photo of you with 2 thumbs up.
Oh, I'm not for it. Let's do it. We can do Twitter. We're not out of touch. So Ryan Murphy basically stole The Hunger and turned it into American Horror Story Hotel.
Okay.
So the Lady Gaga character and I think Matt Bomer, who was her partner, were basically the Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie. Like even down to the soundtrack. The soundtrack of the whole season was like super 80s and like Bauhaus heavy.
Yeah.
So Catherine Deneuve is like a vampire queen. She takes lovers as and when and promises them everlasting life.
Sounds like typical vampire behaviour.
It's very typical. What she doesn't tell them is that while they're guaranteed everlasting life, they are not guaranteed everlasting youth.
Oh.
So David Bowie's character begins to age very, very rapidly, goes to see a scientist who specialises in ageing, who happens to be Susan Sarandon. He ages...
Bringing out the 80s powerhouses.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't really say too much more.
Okay.
Susan Sarandon... There's a very steamy love scene between Susan Sarandon and Catherine Deneuve.
Okay.
Which is spoken very highly of in terms of like LGBTQ cinema.
Not just because everyone's a bit of a perv then.
I mean, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hot. But also, like, it's a really stylish film. It's really... Calling it fun is probably a bit weird. It's largely nonsense. It kind of picks and chooses which bits of the lore that it wants to use. But I think it's hugely
My third favourite vampire movie is largely nonsense.
It's largely bollocks.
Sarah Lee.
Put that on the DVD cover, why don't you? Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. It's one that I come back to every few years.
Okay.
Very, like I say, stylish is the best word for it. It's very cool to look at.
Okay.
And David Bowie, man.
Right, that's enough. That's
just
enough for me.
Elevates the cool factor of anything. So that's it.
Rip.
I know.
So, on with the show. That's what we've been watching recently. We didn't talk about trailers, but...
It's in my notes.
Okay.
I'm there.
Okay, I thought we
Let's
were
talk
like...
about trailers.
Okay, trailers.
It's been a big week.
Has been a big week.
It's been a big week for trailers. We'd be remiss not to talk about the 3 trailers that we have seen.
It's been a big week for the 3 trailers we've watched.
It's been a big week. It's been a week.
It has been a week.
In terms of
Stuff.
work, UK politics, and now trailers.
That's all you need to think about.
I'm gonna go in order of. I'm highly anticipating all 3, but I'm gonna start at the bottom and head to most anticipated.
Start at the bottom, and now you're here. Yes, carry
Drake.
on. Continue.
Was that Drake?
I don't know. You expect me to know that?
Here? I think that was Drake. Oh, I don't know.
You're asking me. You're expecting me to know this.
I'm 37 now. I'm officially over the proverbial. Oh, good lord, proverbial hill. So, at the bottom, the Grudge remake. The Grudge remake.
Yeah,
Remake.
the
Mark
Japanese
2?
original. Then there was an American remake, and now it's a second
The
American
American
remake.
Grudge 2.0 with
John Cho,
Andrea Riseborough, who I love. I love her. She's such a good actress. Obviously, she's been in Black Mirror. She's been in loads of fucking stuff. She was Mandy in Mandy.
Which I have yet to see.
She's a really versatile actress, actually, and she does a very good American accent.
Okay.
I believe she's Northern.
Oh, really?
I think we can smell. We can
super,
smell our own.
Super weird when you hear an actor doing their real accent.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know that. I did not expect that.
Yeah. So cast alone. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of snippets of other people like Lin Shaye.
Of course, Lin Shaye.
Being very Lin
Being
Shaye.
Lin Shaye. Lin Shaye, we want you to be Lin Shaye in our film.
Maybe
Fine, I'll do it.
She's from the Crispin Glover School of Acting, but she just wanders around in Hollywood hoping to be in movies. And everyone's like, she is magnetic. Keep the camera on her. She's insane.
So much fun to watch.
She is. And I find her career trajectory so interesting. Because I think, is she the brother of Bob Shaye?
I don't know, actually.
Well, he's I don't know if he still is, but New Line Cinema was his.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And obviously they call New Line Cinema the house that Freddie built because it was this them taking a pun on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
This ostensibly low budget film that had been passed around, and which she was given a very small part in as the teacher. I think. Yeah,
that makes sense.
The rest is history.
Makes sense.
So I think they're brother and sister.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
See, we do know stuff, guys. We do know stuff.
I've said all that very confidently. It could all be incorrect. Please don't.
The important things that you say with confidence. You'll get anywhere if you say things with confidence.
I'm 95% confident.
It sounds right. If they've both got the same surname.
Hey. I sat through the 4-hour documentary about Nightmare on Elm Street that Heather Langenkamp herself made.
And you still don't know whether that's right or not?
I'm still unsure. No, I'm pretty confident. So The Grudge, I feel like this is more your wheelhouse than mine.
Spooky ghosty types.
Spooky ghosty types and also Asian horror.
Yeah, I mean,
you've seen more than I have, I think.
It looked I don't know whether it was... So I think, if memory serves, the original remake of 2004, I think.
It's got to be around then.
Was directed by Hideo Nataka, who did the original.
Oh God! How did he mess it up so much?
So I think he directed both.
Was it the language barrier?
I do again need to check that. But
just do what I do and confidently spout bollocks.
Yeah.
And assume no one will check.
But and with that, there came a lot of Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. It's Takashi Shimizu directed it. I think Hideo Nataka did The Ring. The original Ring. Right. That's where I'm getting mixed up.
That sounds familiar now you've said it.
Yeah, but they created the Ju-On franchise, so yeah.
Okay.
He did both.
Interesting.
So, but with that, the 2004 film kind of still had quite a Japanese approach to the way they portrayed the demons.
I
like
remember
the ghosts.
like nothing about this.
All they are is long black hair, white faces, black eye makeup.
Yeah.
Like that's the extent of the makeup on Kayako, like Toshio. And...
Sorry, Lynn Shay is the younger sister of New Line Cinema founder and CEO Robert Shay.
See, you're right. I didn't doubt you once.
Shh, just everyone listening. I'm sorry, guys. Why am I sorry? I got it right.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a roller coaster. Carry on.
But yeah, like 2000, like the 2004 remake did kind of run with that still. Like the family. I'm struggling to remember the name of the dad. I know it's Toshio and Kayako, but either way,
I don't think anybody's gonna like be sat at home.
Yeah.
Well, no, Neil might be sat at home listening. I know.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure.
Come on,
Just let us know, Neil.
drop us a line.
But yeah, and so there was that same approach to the way the ghosts were sort of filmed.
Okay.
In the same sort of makeup, but whereas this one, looking at it, it seems a lot more in line with the way a ghost would be shown in an American-made horror movie.
What in this?
In the
newest
remake,
one?
yeah. Like they didn't. It looked like they'd actually done, not made more of an effort, because that's.
I think it looks
implies,
like they made more of an effort.
No, because that implies that it was a stylistic choice maybe to have just pale face makeup and black eyeshadow, and so I don't want to say made more of an effort because it sounds like it's like insulting the choices that were made in the... Anyway, you know what I'm getting at.
I do.
You know what I'm getting at.
So, I've got two questions. Firstly, are you stoked about it?
I'm curious about it.
Second question, can you do the noise?
Yes, I'm sure.
Do the noise. I don't like it. Stop. Please stop. Third question, will you please stop that?
I think that was the noise, wasn't it?
That was pretty good, yeah. What have I started now? What have you done? So second, this is... That's the new thing. Have you noticed?
What?
Clicking in trailers.
Oh, really?
In horror trailers, like, it's like tapping and clicking.
Oh, okay.
Like,
it was very rhythmically edited, I noticed that.
Yeah, which I dig.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So,
anyway.
number 2 on our list of 3 trailers that we have seen this week, Antlers. Which, I watched a trailer a couple days ago, which I think was a slightly older trailer, and had no dialogue in it. And I've been burned before by trailers with no dialogue that look awesome, and then it turns out the script is turd. But the trailer that we saw today
looked pretty solid, didn't it?
Damn.
And it's Del Toro producing a film that has a monster in it, so...
I swear to God, I heard the word Wendigo in that trailer.
Yeah, like...
And my ears pricked
obviously,
up, like...
The Wendigo is
and it's not made by Larry Fessenden. It's
a Native American kind of mythological creature, so obviously we in the UK don't really have that much exposure to it. But having...
so cool!
Like, I am aware that they traditionally do have antlers, I think, because they're kind of like deer creatures. I think they're demons that are born from people resorting to cannibalism, I think, if memory serves.
Yeah. Like, literally the only 2 instances I can think of are... Well, 3, actually.
Until Dawn.
Yep. Which was, again, Larry Fessenden. Larry Fessenden made a film called Wendigo. He's obsessed, dude, I tell you. And there was an episode of Supernatural really early on.
Well, season 1.
And that's all
like episode 4 or something like that.
So, like, an untapped potential.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hoping for, like, a good Wendigo movie, and this looks like it's going to be a good Wendigo movie.
No, I'm delving out my depth there, never mind.
One thing I will say is that I think they showed a little bit too much in the trailer, because you basically get to see, like, most of a creature, which kind of, like, made me think of the monster from The Ritual a little bit.
Yeah, it was very sort of primal in its appearance.
I am so in. And obviously, the third...
Dun, 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 dun.
Do we even need to... I think, like, the consensus is it looks bomb. We're all excited.
Ghostbusters!
I just tried to take a drink and hit myself in the teeth. I am so malcoordinated.
Swiftly on.
Nobody needed to know that. I could have got away with it if it wasn't for myself.
Hoisted by your own petard.
What did you just call me?
Underutilized phrase. I love it.
So, we don't really need to say much.
It's Ghostbusters.
I think
it's got Finn Wolfhard in it, and the
and
girl
Paul
from
Rudd.
the girl from Haunting in Hill House.
Oh, McKenna Grace.
I where do I recognise her from? And I looked it up.
She's in shitloads of stuff.
Yeah,
she's a really prolific child actress. I thought you meant, when you said the girl, I thought you meant the mum, who's Carrie Coons.
No, the actual girl.
Who is my age.
Okay.
And when I see her as a mum of teenagers, it makes me feel all squicky and I don't like it. Phenomenal actress,
it was I had a similar moment with like someone like Anna Kendrick or something.
I don't like it. No.
No, it was who was in the it was whoever's in the Chucky remake.
Oh, Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. Like you.
I'm not okay with it.
That's
How
weird.
are you a mum?
You are like you are April Ludgate, and I will hear nothing else.
Still a teenager. Yeah. So stellar cast. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I think it looks like one of the rare cases where they've kind of gone, well, the last Ghostbusters didn't go over brilliantly. I'm assuming it made a decent chunk of money, but I don't think it was like super critically well received.
Yeah, it's a whole like
mainly because it's not good.
I think that whole situation, no one came out on top because like the film
apart
itself
from
wasn't
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah, the film itself wasn't particularly critically well received. There was a whole backlash of like neckbeards saying, "How dare women have a voice? How dare women do things at all?
There are vaginas out of the kitchen."
Yeah, and then from that, there's a horrible part of me that's like, did someone just go, you know what? I will listen to these people who think women should be in the kitchen. I'll do it better myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there is something there in that the remake that happened a couple of years ago that part of me wonders whether it should have been left alone.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's really tough.
I think the idea is solid. An all-female Ghostbusters. I'm in. The execution was just bad. Like, Melissa McCarthy just needs to stop being in things. Full
she
stop.
May have been. She may have. I haven't seen her in anything recently.
Same Kristen Wiig. Like, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
Just oversaturation at this point, though. Mm-hmm. Kate McKinnon I was fine with. Leslie Jones, fine with. Because I hadn't seen their faces very much. We don't get SNL over here. We make do with YouTube clips. So I wasn't as familiar with them. And I was more open to seeing them on screen, whereas it's just like, oh, it's Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Which is why I tend to sort of like veer away from blockbusters, because when you see films like with Tom Cruise in, I'm just like, oh, that's Tom Cruise. I don't care how good of an actor he's being.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I saw you jumping on Oprah's couch like a maniac. You're insane.
Yeah.
I know who you are. I know too much about your private life. I can't buy you as anything other than Tom Cruise. So I think there's a lot to be said for lesser known faces.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But I'm very excited about this because it seems like they've really kind of honed in on like the zeitgeist at the moment and gone full Stranger Things nostalgia.
Yeah, like I was quite impressed how that trailer set it up almost as if it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've inherited this spooky old house that you've inherited, like, and there's this mine, it's like that house looks genuinely spooky and it would make a great location for a horror movie. But obviously it's going to be Ghostbusters because it's Ghostbusters, so I presume it'll be a bit more lighthearted.
I'm so excited! So, hotly anticipated for next year. I mean, it's going to be good. Paul Rudd doesn't really do like duds.
Paul Rudd is great. Paul Rudd is great in everything he does.
Paul Rudd don't do duds.
As the saying goes.
It does now. So, with that wrapped up, I think we're going to spend a little bit of time, not a huge amount of time, but since this is the holiday different,
we're going
to spend a little bit of time talking about Christmas movies.
Christmas horror movies.
Christmas... Well...
Oh.
Muppets
Christmas.
The Santa Claus?
Which I watched today.
Did you?
I did.
Is it terrible?
It's a Christmas movie.
I haven't seen it since I was pretty young, and I loved it. And I'm sort of... It's one of those that I'm, like, scared to revisit.
It's really weird, like, going back and seeing... I can't remember the guy's name. I've seen him in so many things. He's in Serenity and 10 Things I Hate About You, and...
What does he look like?
Jewish actor.
That does not narrow it down, Phil. Have you seen Hollywood?
He's Mr. Universe in Serenity. He is played by...
No, I want to play the game.
Okay.
Give me more hints.
Okay, what do you want? Because I know his name now. I looked it up. But I know the itch to play this game. What do you want, the initials?
Yeah, okay.
His initials are DK.
Oh. No, I need more. How old is he?
Old enough to play a, like, teenager in Santa Claus.
Oh, he was right. No more.
I don't know what
this is the worst game of charades. No one can see anything.
I mean, he's Mr. Universe he's the weird nerdy friend in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, David Krumholtz. I got
there. Yeah, he's in the Santa Claus. He plays a character called Bernard.
Oh shit! Yeah,
it's really weird. It's like I'm so used to seeing him in, like, Serenity and 10 Things I Hate About You. It's suddenly going back and watching Santa Claus. I'm like, oh, it's you. I know you.
Huh. I knew I'd get there.
Well done.
I had every faith in me, even if no one else did.
I'm glad to hear. That kind of self-confidence is rare.
I mean, I've learned a lot from Lizzo, what can I say? So, moving on from the Santa Claus, or whatever else you want to talk about, Christmas Chronicles. I can go back to talking about Christmas Chronicles.
Of course, it's got Kurt Russell in it.
I didn't bring up his snazzy red leather Santa coat.
Or the musical number in the prison cell.
Oh no, I can live without that, actually. That was a bit cringe. So, Christmas horror movies. Mm-hmm. It's not your bread and butter.
It's not necessarily that. It's just one of those things that I find... Yeah, because you can only watch... I basically have... It's like... You've only got a limited amount of time to watch Christmas horror movies.
You say that. You can watch them whenever you want,
I know
Philip.
You can.
You're an adult.
I know you can.
You make your own rules.
But you should. But around Christmas time, I'm more inclined to watch the Christmas films I grew up with. So, Miracle on 34th Street, Muppets Christmas Carol, Santa Claus, Elf, you know.
Why does everybody love Elf so much?
Because Zooey Deschanel.
She's in loads of other stuff.
And I love everything that she's in. That's a lie. I'm sure there's plenty of things I didn't love her in.
You girl garbage shit. So, if somebody says to you, if you were playing an association game and somebody went, Christmas horror movies, go!
Okay, well, the first one that jumped to mind,
and
this is because I mentioned it the other day, was Rare Exports.
Rare Exports is rad. But it's been a few years since I've seen it.
I remember enjoying, couldn't tell you a thing about it.
There's a lot of penis in it.
Which apparently I forgot about. Didn't remember it was in Finnish.
You scrubbed that from memory. Yeah, you didn't realise it had subtitles. Did you watch a dubbed version? Maybe?
No, I think I watched it with you. We talked about doing it for this episode.
Did we watch it together?
I think so.
Instant Story.
It may have been a big Christmas event that we watched together. I can't remember.
Oh, maybe.
But
I just remember a lot of pain.
I'm sure you're right.
A lot of pain. I'm going to have to Google it and include...
But I remember it being a super fun movie.
It is a really super fun movie. And I think... I do want to watch it again, and I would like to cover it at some point. Maybe next year we can do it. But I think it sort of fits right into a very weird subgenre that we both love, and that is, like, adult fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spin on folklore, effectively.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm.
Like a weird little modern spin on really old traditions, but done with, like, winking at the camera.
Yeah. Like an acknowledgement that you are having fun with the lore and the mythology.
That's it. You know it's a bit silly.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being very horror-y.
No, I just, for some reason I associated it with...
I remember the comedy more
with
than
it being a horror movie. Could be mistaken.
No, I think it is. I remember there's like a Santa in a cage.
That's pretty horrific.
Yeah. What, just being in a cage? Or like a caged Santa specifically haunts your dreams?
Well.
And your every waking hour. Is there something I don't know about? It's basically the film Pet, but with Santa.
Oh, with...
instead of Senior Solo.
Senior Solo.
I love her.
Lost Girl is on Netflix or Now TV or something.
Is it?
I want to rewatch it so much.
I might have to.
Anyway.
What else?
Is this the game we're playing? We're just like, Phil, you do it. You do all the work.
Name some stuff. No, I've got a list in front of me.
Sorry?
I know, like, we had a conversation and you said you thought you hadn't seen as many Christmas horror films as I'd seen. So I just want to know kind of what immediately occurs to you. And
well, one I had forgotten until we mentioned it earlier is it a Christmas Horror Story?
Oh,
is it called Christmas Horror Story?
A Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah. Which I've seen...
Do you know what? I'm pretty sure we did a show about
fairly
it.
recently, but again, so much fun. It's one of those films that has like...
I swear to God, we did a full show on it about 2 years ago.
Probably.
It's got William Shatner in it.
Mm-hmm. What's not to love?
I mean, he's in a lot of real crap. I remember I bought it recently with a view to watching it again. Because I remember watching it and just being like very lukewarm about all of the anthology segments until it got to the end, and I just remember the twist at the end being so fucking brilliantly ludicrous that it redeemed everything that had come before it. Yeah. Which is so rare. Like, it was a very, very mediocre film. Until the end. It was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I think I had the same reaction to it.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not alone. I couldn't tell you a huge amount about the segments. I remember a family.
Well, one thing I seem to remember about it, and I liked, is the fact that it seemed like everyone's stories ended and got picked up. Like, am I misremembering that?
No, carry on.
You know how like what was it called? Southbound did it, whereby like it's an anthology movie. But rather than being hard cuts, there's like
overlaps
one story ends as another picks up.
Yeah,
which I really like. Like, just that.
I want to watch
helps
Southbound
tie these things together. I actually really enjoyed Southbound.
I remember thinking it was alright, but I watched it with an ex who basically hated every movie ever made, and it made me view it really negatively.
Yeah.
But since breaking up with him, I have like watched a bunch of the films that we saw for the first time together and been like, this is great, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How dare you ruin movies for me? So I think that might be one that I have to revisit, because I remember thinking like it definitely had its moments. The weird kind of, was this like a weird purgatory one near the end?
Yeah,
like in a bar or something.
There's one in a hospital.
Oh, ew. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
The skeletal creatures that are just hovering around chasing the gas station.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's not Christmassy though.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
But I see what you mean.
Christmas Horror Story.
No, 100%.
I seem to remember it doing the same sort of thing where they pick up.
I'd forgotten that element, but I think you're right. Yeah.
And again, it's kind of a minor point because
no, but it's nice.
It's nice to how it just ties them all together rather than just being, now that story's done. Here's another story. You know.
Which is fine.
Well, you may as well just watch short horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine if you're going to do something like VHS where they are at least tenuously linked by, somebody's watching VHS tapes that they found. That's alright. There's some sort of continuity, there's some sort of wraparound. But yeah, if it's just like quick cuts to a completely different story that has a totally different tone and feel and atmosphere, it's really jarring. So yeah, I mean, I think anthology movies tend to work best when the filmmakers, when it's a collaborative effort, rather than you go off and do your bit, you go off and do your bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's not as much. It doesn't seem like there's any forethought. So yeah, I do need to watch that again.
I need to rewatch it now. Yeah. I'd completely forgotten about it until just today, and now I just want to rewatch it.
You are welcome. So, I'm going to mention one. It's a reasonably recent one. It's one that I didn't love.
Okay.
And it's one that might be a bit confusing. Krampus.
Okay.
And I say confusing
Krampus.
because there's like 4 movies called Krampus at this point.
Yes.
I am, of course, referring to the Michael Dougherty one.
Which I may have seen.
It's the one with like Adam Scott and
Christmas
Tony
Horror
Collette.
Story. Oh, yeah.
Which...
Oh, and they get like evil versions of their presents.
Uh-huh.
Like a giant like evil Jack in a Box or something like that.
Yeah. And it felt like they were sort of going for like a Gremlins vibe.
Yeah.
That didn't really pay
a bit
off.
like kid-friendly family horror.
Yeah. And I feel like it just sort of... It didn't quite hit the mark for me. It wasn't super memorable. It was fine. But like... It just felt like it could have been anything. It just happened to be, we'll do it at Christmas and we'll like borrow the Krampus story for it. Like it could have been anything.
Yeah.
It just felt like a bit of a cash grab. My theory at the time, actually, I can't remember whenever it came out, like 5 years ago or however many. My theory at the time, because I love Trick or Treat, and Trick or Treat 2 has been talked about for about a decade at this point and still has not come to fruition. I'd love to see it. Apparently Michael Dougherty would love to make it. My theory at the time was that maybe the studio had made him make Krampus before they'd promised to fund his... Like, no idea if there's any truth to that. That was just my personal conspiracy
there's precedent.
theory.
There is precedent.
Yeah.
Because I know... words.
I can't help you.
Ryan Reynolds. I was like, Ryan Gosling? It's not Ryan Gosling.
Different Ryan.
Ryan Reynolds, the studio wouldn't let him play Deadpool or do a Deadpool movie until he did Deadpool in First Class. And so he kind of like sucked it up and did that. Because I think he specifically wanted to do one for ages.
Yeah.
And it was only because like the studio had like dangled that role over his head. And he took it and then obviously retconned First Class out of existence, but not First Class.
I love the little
whichever one it was
bit at the end of Deadpool 2
when he goes back and so it's retconned. It's great. Which one was it?
Genius.
I can't remember which one it was. Trying to remember which X-Men Deadpool appeared in.
Do you know what wasn't it? Wolverine Origins.
Origins, not First Class.
Yeah. I kind of like lost track of the X-Men movies a little bit. They're so cack now.
There's like the trilogy, and then there's First Class, and then Origins Wolverine, and then The Wolverine, and then Dark Phoenix, and then there was a second one after
Logan. Does that count?
Yeah, it's still Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
and still Patrick. Oh, Logan was really good. Logan was really good.
I haven't seen Dark Phoenix. I'm pretty sure there's an X-Men an X-Men movie that I haven't actually seen.
What was the one between? There was one between First Class and Dark Phoenix. I can't remember what it was. Consult Google. Consult Google.
There was at least one, if not 2. I'm pretty sure.
Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah. Because that was with Evan Peters, Quicksilver.
Yes.
Who I actually really rated. He was a high point.
That scene.
Otherwise, that was
when
so
he's
fun.
running around the room, so much fun. Loved it.
So the rest of the film had lived up to those. Like,
Days of Future Past was the one I was thinking of.
That's the one. Yeah. I think that's the one I've seen, and it's Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix that I haven't seen.
Okay. Yeah, Apocalypse wasn't great.
I just lost interest.
I like Days of Future Past. The concept of like jumping around in time. It's cool.
It was. I just.
Not particularly festive though.
Speak for yourself. If you wrap some tinsel around yourself while you're watching it, it's festive. Anything can be a Christmas movie, Phil.
Anything can be a Christmas movie with enough tinsel. You heard it here first, guys.
So, one that is very recent, but has shot to the top of my very small list of festive favourite horror movies, is Better Watch Out.
You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch. Repeat ad infinitum. Ad nauseum.
Yeah, that's more like it. I'm happy to just like quote old vines if that's what you're here for. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, because I think my mini-sode this time around is going to be a very short review of that film.
Okay.
Because I've watched it a couple times now, and I don't want to... Because it's still very new, I don't want to spoil it. 100% worth watching. Also has Patrick Warburton in it.
Oh, really?
I told you that would come back.
Love it.
Callbacks.
Love it.
And Virginia Madsen as the parents.
Patrick Warburton has the best voice.
He has a phenomenal voice. Phenomenal. Oh my god.
Do 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 do.
Phenomenal. It's not what I expected it to be, and I think that's one of the best things you can say about a horror movie. I knew almost nothing about it. I went in pretty blind the first time. It set itself up to be something quite cliche and completely flipped the script and left me like, oh, okay. This is way more twisted than I thought. And that's as much as I will say.
Nice. I like films like that.
So fun.
Where they do kind of lead you down one road and go,
yeah,
whoop, carpets out from underneath the
pull the rug.
feet.
Yeah. I loved it.
Cool. I have to keep an eye out for that one. Is that on streaming services or?
It was on Now TV.
Okay.
Last time I checked.
Nice. I might have to put that on the list.
You
Give
should.
it a watch.
Highly recommend.
Give it a watch.
Yeah. The last one, unless you've got anything more.
I don't believe so.
I mean, there's a couple of like honourable mentions that I love. Inside, the French new wave experience.
Yeah, we
film.
were talking about that one. Like, it wouldn't jump to mind as being a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas film, but it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah,
and it's
the Die Hard argument.
If it takes place at Christmas, it's fine. People argue about Gremlins. That's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
that's a Christmas. I mean, arguably not a horror movie, but it's a Christmas movie. If it takes place at Christmas, fucking have at it. See if I can give a fuck. Like, classify films however you want them. Just enjoy them. I don't care. But there are another couple, like P2, the
sequel to P.
Yes, the follow-up to P1, obviously.
P2 Electric Boogaloo.
To give it its full title. It's called P2 because it's
a parking lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a park. It's almost all of it takes place in a parking garage.
Yeah.
And I said it the American way, and I don't know why, because it's
I said parking lot.
Garage.
Car park.
Low key have a crush on Wes Bentley's psychopathic character in this film, and it's very problematic and very toxic, and I'm a terrible feminist. But who's very good in that role. Basically, the whole story is a woman finishes work on Christmas Eve, ends up getting locked in the parking garage. He is the security officer, who it turns out has an obsessive stalkery crush on her. And it's like the whole thing is basically just those two major players with a couple of side characters. It's a very small cast. It's directed by Frank Calhoun, who I believe also did the Maniac remake, which is fantastic.
Oh, with Elijah Wood.
So he knows his stuff. He's a pretty good director, and yeah, worth a watch.
Okay.
Again, not
like
super
I've seen it.
Christmassy.
Like I've seen it. Like in kind of DVD shelves.
Yeah.
So many times, and just never thought to pick it up. So.
It is like, it's not an amazing film, but it's a very good horror movie, I think. And obviously Santa Sleigh with Bill Goldberg as Santa. Bill Goldberg. The wrestler, the big wrestler dude, as murderous Santa. It's as stupid as it sounds.
Did you watch that?
Potentially. We may.
I seem to remember there being one. There's like a department store. Maybe. We
did. We had a Christmas do when
Yeah.
I lived in Story, and we watched Santa's Sleigh and Rare Exports.
There we go.
I remember it now.
There we go.
And you've just repressed all the pain. That's what happened.
You mentioned it. I'm just putting the pieces together. You put them down, I'm just picking them up.
Dead End. I have to mention Dead End.
Okay.
We talked about Lin Shaye already. She's in this. She is at her Lin Shayeist, one might say. It is a very... In fact, I think the mum and dad are Lynn Shay and Ray Wise, if I remember rightly.
Oh my god.
It's been a good few years
that
since
is a fantastic coupling of actors.
It's been a while, so don't take my word for
Yeah.
it, but I'm pretty sure it's Ray Wise and Lynn Shay. Again, it's one of those films where it's just like a bit of a head fuck.
Okay.
And you're not quite sure what's going on.
Yep.
It is Ray Wise. God! Like, my memory's kicking ass today. It's just words I can't say.
Well, as long as your memory's working. Who needs to articulate thoughts when you've got them, right? The important thing is to have them.
How are you? What's happening? But Dead End, fantastic Christmas horror movie that does not get talked about enough, doesn't get given enough credit. The last one.
Ooh, last one?
Which I want to mention is Black Christmas.
Okay.
The original Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. I gave you... No.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the theme tune.
But
as I
the
remember.
very next thing.
It is a really genuinely creepy and quite fucking dark horror movie.
Okay.
I think the assumption generally is that...
Everyone loves cats, right?
Not that one.
Furiously scraping at litter trays.
Choose your moments, Lucille. But I think everybody kind of associates festive horror, or like any kind of horror movie that takes place around an event,
Camp.
to be a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know what? This is really fucking dark.
Okay.
And like a bit grim
Okay.
in places. And Margot Kidder was in it, and she was a bit crazy towards the end.
Bit crazy?
Like, I felt really bad for her. She like lost her marbles towards the end, but she was a really good actress back in the day. And like, just a really, really interesting film. Obviously very low budget. But yeah, an odd little Christmas movie, but it's one I tend to like rewatch every year.
Yeah. Okay.
I hated the first remake. There is a second remake that is currently
Yes. Oh my. So I've heard
it's
less than favourable things about that.
Well, there's a review embargo. People are not supposed to be talking about it already. And when there's a review embargo for a film of that ilk, that can only mean they know it's bad. So cool.
We've got this film coming up. We can't talk about it.
Yeah, nobody
We
say a
can't
word.
talk about it.
We'll just release it and then we'll get all the money and then we'll run away. I can understand it when it's like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And they don't want people spoiling the end of Endgame.
That's fair.
But if it's a film like this, if you're being ordered not to talk about it,
Does not bode well.
But again, like, why is like second remakes a recurring topic at the moment? Has Hollywood really fucking run out?
They saw
of
the
that
Lord of the
many
Rings and
ideas?
went, second breakfast.
Ooh,
That's a good idea.
we can make money off this. Yeah, so that is my
That is our
little quick roundup
Christmas
of festive favourites. Sorry, holiday difference.
holiday difference, as it is known.
On that note, I think that's ours.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up for now for this episode.
I'm speaking for both of us very confidently to
well, this will be interesting.
continue. No, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who's tuned in this year.
Yeah.
To anybody who's bought merch or shared one of our posts on
even
social
just
media,
liking
or
things, engaging with us. It's
talk
all
to us, interactive.
fantastic because we are people. We are friendly and nice, and support goes a long way to actually inspire us to keep on doing what we're doing.
100%. Like, we wouldn't be doing this. It wouldn't be possible if it weren't for you guys at this point. And yeah, a huge heartfelt thank you. This has been our first year where we haven't missed any of our regularly scheduled shows,
which is a big one considering
despite
there's
real
been
life and illness.
three iterations of like the podcast.
Yeah.
And this is the one we're actually nailing it every fortnight.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
This will be our last show before Christmas, so
Penultimate episode of the year.
yeah. So have the best Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, more power to you. Have a good day, regardless of what you choose to do. or which holidays you celebrate. And we will be back with a best of the decade
bumper
special.
episode special.
It's going to be mad.
I'm looking forward to that.
And not only
I think
end
we'll
of
just be like
2019, but end of the decade.
just like word vomiting about how we love every single film we're talking about.
Oh, 100%. It's just going to be us going, it's brilliant!
Yeah.
Times 5.
And actually, I think we're all fairly aligned with our favourites as well, so
reasonably.
a lot of like discussion.
There's going to be some crossover. We
Of
shall
course,
see.
I'm sure.
We shall see. So on that note, thank you so much for listening, guys, and stay spooky.
See ya.